She left, walked away, and made the choice to disregard your worth. It felt like a final decision, one that carried a sting, as if you were no longer worth her attention or presence. But now, suddenly, she's back, liking your posts, sending messages, and keeping an eye on your life from the sidelines. Why? It's tempting to overanalyze this sudden interest, but let's break it down with clarity. Her return might not be about rekindling what was lost or realizing she made a mistake. Often, it's about curiosity, a need to see if you've moved on, and perhaps a subtle attempt to regain a sense of control over your life. She may be trying to gauge whether you're still the same person she walked away from, or if you've grown in ways that now intimidate her. This shift in behavior is often a reflection of her own insecurity, not a reflection of you. In the end, her actions don't define your worth. What truly matters is how you choose to move forward, without being pulled back into a past she chose to leave behind. Number 1. Your success triggers her panic. When she walked away, she believed she held the upper hand, assuming your world would collapse without her presence. But instead of breaking, you rebuilt, stronger, sharper, and more focused than ever. Your physique improved, your confidence became unshakable, and your life took a trajectory that no longer revolved around seeking her validation. The illusion of control she once held disintegrated before her eyes. Many women mistake attention for power, believing that the ability to command someone's focus gives them control. But when you withdrew that attention and thrived in silence, you became an enigma, one she could no longer decipher. Now, her renewed curiosity isn't fueled by love or regret. It's driven by uncertainty. She's not longing for you. She's questioning her own influence. She wants to know if the man who once sought her approval still exists, if she can still pull the same emotional strings. But this time, there's no need to engage. No explanation, no reaction, just silence. Because silence isn't weakness, it's power. It forces her to confront the reality that she no longer holds a place of significance in your world. Number 2. The grass wasn't greener. She spent her time chasing what she believed were better options, convinced that the dating world owed her perfection. In her mind, there was always someone more exciting, more charming, or more successful waiting just around the corner. But reality doesn't cater to fantasies. The very men she left you for saw her as just another option, treating her as disposable rather than special. Now, as nostalgia clouds her judgment, she starts to rewrite history, convincing herself that you were the safe choice all along. But let's be honest, if she truly valued you, she wouldn't have left in the first place. Her return isn't a sign of deep regret or newfound appreciation. It's an admission that she overestimated her worth in a market that never promised her the dream she envisioned. And you? You are not a backup plan. You are not a second choice. The moment someone walks away, they forfeit the privilege of returning. Close the door, lock it, and move forward. She thought the grass was greener, that there was something, or someone, out there who could give her more. More excitement, more validation, more of whatever fleeting desire she was chasing at the time. But what she failed to realize is that those who constantly seek more often end up with nothing. The men she chose over you never saw her as a prize. They saw her as temporary, interchangeable, just another face in the crowd. Now, as the thrill fades and reality sets in, she looks back at you, not with love, but with convenience. To her, you represent stability, familiarity, a place to land now that her reckless pursuit of perfection has left her empty-handed. But understand this, you are not a refuge for those who underestimated your value. You are not an emotional safety net. The past knocking on your door isn't a sign to reopen it. It's a test to see if you've truly moved on. And the only right answer? Leave it locked. Number 3. You were never the one, just a chapter. Women, by nature, are often driven more by emotion than by unwavering loyalty. Unlike men, who may remain in a situation out of duty or principle, a woman's attachment is deeply tied to how she feels in the moment. She didn't leave you on a whim. She detached emotionally long before she physically walked away. When her feelings shifted, so did her commitment, because for many women, loyalty is not an absolute, but a reflection of their current emotional state. This is where hypergamy comes into play, the pursuit of something better, whether in terms of emotional fulfillment, status, or security. She didn't lose sleep over you because, in her mind, she had already moved on before you even realized it was over. Understand that her commitment was always conditional, based on whether you continued to meet her evolving expectations. But this does not define your worth. A person's decision to leave does not mean you were inadequate. It only means they were seeking something else. Your value is not measured by whether she stayed or left. It is determined by how you carry yourself forward despite it. Number 4. Ego validation, not love. Her return is rarely about rekindling a genuine connection. It's often a vanity check. She seeks reassurance that she still holds a place in your mind, not because she values the relationship, but because she needs validation. It's a test of her own desirability, an attempt to affirm that she can still command your attention. When you refuse to engage, when you remain indifferent, you shatter the illusion she has built. Women, like all people, crave being desired, and your lack of reaction forces her into uncomfortable introspection. She is left questioning her significance, wondering why she no longer has the power over you that she once did. Indifference, more than anger or desperation, unsettles her the most. It flips the script. Suddenly, she is the one seeking answers, the one left wondering. By ignoring her, you don't just reject her advances. You force her to confront a reality where she is no longer at the center of your world. This realization unsettles her because it contradicts the narrative she's accustomed to, the one where she holds emotional leverage. She expected you to react, to chase, to reaffirm her worth with your attention. But when you don't, when you remain unfazed, she is left facing a truth she hadn't considered. She no longer has control over your emotions. That stings more than any words you could say. Indifference is powerful because it shifts the dynamic entirely. Instead of you seeking closure or validation, she is now the one wrestling with doubt. She wonders why she no longer affects you, why her presence no longer stirs a response. And in that silence, in that void where she once found validation, she is forced to question her own importance. That's the irony. By doing nothing, you leave the strongest impression. Number 5. You're no longer her safety net. She believed you would always be there, patiently waiting in the background as a safety net for when her other choices crumbled. To her, you were a fallback option, someone she could return to once the excitement of her adventures faded. But what she never anticipated was your transformation. Instead of remaining stagnant, you grew mentally, emotionally, and even in your sense of self-worth. You evolved into someone independent, strong, and untouchable. Now, the very person she once overlooked has become someone she can no longer reach. The tables have turned, and she feels the weight of her miscalculation. This is the essence of true power, not in seeking revenge or proving a point, but in becoming so self-sufficient, so complete, that the idea of being someone's second choice becomes laughable. Never settle for being a consolation prize. The real victory lies in outgrowing those who once took you for granted and ensuring they can never reclaim what they lost. Now, she watches from a distance, haunted by the realization that you've become the kind of person she always wished for, but never truly valued. The power dynamic has shifted, not because you sought revenge, but because you simply stopped waiting. You stopped hoping for validation from someone who saw you as replaceable. Instead, you invested in yourself, built your confidence, and embraced your worth. And that's what unsettles her the most, knowing she no longer has access to you, that you've outgrown the version of yourself that once clung to her presence. She assumed you'd always be an option, but now she's left with nothing but regret. And the most poetic part? You don't even look back, because true growth isn't about proving anything to those who underestimated you. It's about reaching a level where their absence feels like nothing more than a forgotten chapter. Number 6. Walk away permanently. Strength is not found in clinging to the past, replaying memories, or hoping for a different outcome. It lies in the ability to move forward and build a future that does not revolve around what has already been lost. True resilience is not about fighting for someone who has chosen to walk away. It is about reclaiming your energy and directing it towards something meaningful. Block her, delete her, refuse to entertain the endless cycle of what-ifs that serve only to keep you trapped in an emotional prison of your own making. Men do not heal by dwelling on the past. They heal through action, through purpose, through the relentless pursuit of something greater than yesterday's heartbreak. Nostalgia is a thief. It steals your time, your focus, and your ambition. Every second spent on her is a second stolen from your future, from your growth, from the man you are meant to become. The only way forward is through discipline, detachment, and the unshakable resolve to prioritize your own potential over the ghosts of what could have been. Let go of the illusion that closure will come from another conversation, another text, or another chance. The only closure you need is the decision to walk away and never look back. Strength isn't in proving your worth to someone who failed to see it. It's in proving to yourself that you were always enough. Stop romanticizing the past. Stop searching for meaning in her absence. She is gone, and that is all the answer you need. The man who dwells on the past is the man who wastes his future. Growth demands sacrifice, and in this case, it demands that you sacrifice the version of you that still believes she was necessary. She wasn't. If she were, she would still be here. The only thing necessary is your discipline, your purpose, and your commitment to a life that does not include her. Block her, not because it's petty, but because it's power. Delete her, not because it's bitter, but because it's necessary. Refuse to linger in the past, not because you don't care, but because you care too much about the man you are becoming. The future is waiting, but it will not wait forever. Step forward or be left behind. Final word. She's back, but not because she wants a second chance. She's back because your growth has highlighted the miscalculation she made in letting you go. This isn't about rekindling what was lost. It's about something far more important: self-respect. You've evolved beyond the person she once knew, and you're no longer the same individual who once tolerated her mistakes or misjudgments. In your journey of growth, you've cultivated a strength and sense of self-worth that demands respect, not validation. As you continue to climb, she can only watch from a distance, powerless to reclaim what she let slip away. By the time she recognizes what she discarded, it will be too late. Keep moving forward, for your evolution isn't for her, it's for you. Conclusion. Never again will you settle for a life of mediocrity. Commit to your growth with unwavering dedication. The path to unshakable confidence begins when you embrace who you are and stop looking back at the past. Each step forward is an opportunity to redefine yourself and become the person you were always meant to be. Subscribe to this journey if you're ready to claim the life of purpose and clarity that comes with embracing Stoic principles. Share this with others. Every man deserves to know his true worth and harness the power of self-mastery. The moment you let go of the past is the moment life truly begins. Step into your potential and never look back.